Welcome back to Security Simplified. Sometimes, features of programming languages that are designed to make things easier can lead to vulnerabilities. Today, let's look at one of these examples. Let's dive into PHP's type juggling feature and how they lead to authentication bypass vulnerabilities. Want to get rewarded for finding security bugs like this one? Integrity is a bug bounty platform that pays you for reporting security vulnerabilities. With more than 100 public and private targets to test your skills on, you can test your hacking skills on real targets legally and get rewarded for it. Sign up now with the link in the description. PHP has a feature called type juggling or type coercion. This means that when a program tries to compare variables of different types, PHP will first convert them into a common comparable data type. For example, this program compares the string 7 and the integer 7. The comparison will cause PHP to first convert the string 7 to an integer so that it can be compared with the integer. This behavior is very helpful when you want your program to be flexible in dealing with different types of user input. However, this behavior is also a major source of bugs and security vulnerabilities. For example, when PHP needs to compare the string 7 string to the integer 7, PHP will attempt to convert the string, so it will extract the integer 7 from the string. So this comparison will also evaluate to true. But what if that string that is being compared does not contain an integer? The string will then be converted into the number 0. So this comparison will also evaluate to true. Loose type comparison behaviors like these is pretty common in PHP, and many built-in functions work the exact same way. You can probably already see how this problem can be very problematic, but how exactly does an attacker exploit this behavior? The most common way that this feature in PHP is exploited is by using it to bypass authentication. Let's say an application's PHP code handles authentication like this. If the username is admin and the password submitted is equal to the admin's password, the user will be logged in as admin. Then, simply submitting a username of admin and a password of the integer 0 would successfully log you in as admin, since this condition will also evaluate to true. However, this vulnerability is not always exploitable. It often needs to be combined with a deserialization flaw. The reason for this is that post and get request parameters and cookie values are, for the most part, passed as strings or arrays into the program. If the post parameter from the example that we mentioned before is passed into the program as a string, PHP will be comparing two strings, and no type conversion would be needed. And the string 0 and the admin password are very obviously different strings. However, type juggling issues can be exploited if the application accepts the input via JSON blobs or serialized objects. This way, it will be possible for the end user to specify the data type of the input passed in. For example, if the user input is in the JSON format, the attacker can pass the integer 0 directly, and it will be interpreted by the program as an integer. This first line of input would cause the password parameter to be treated as a string, whereas this line of input would cause it to be interpreted as an integer by PHP. This gives the attacker fine-grained control over the input's data type, and therefore the ability to exploit type juggling issues. And that's it for today's security lesson. Next time, let's talk about what you can do to prevent type juggling vulnerabilities.